Yo.
Hey everybody, TG Tuesday, brand new tutorial. Today is super cute. I'm super excited because I'm going to be making an outfit for our little bundle of joy that's coming very, very soon. This is what I'm dealing with here. 33 weeks, a little out of breath, still pushing, we're good. Okay, so before we get started with this tutorial, if you followed along with our Recaptured Values page, of course, you're here. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell because we put out a new video every Tuesday. We put out a video recently for a fabric sale because we are purging our fabric closet completely. And our fabric closet has 4 racks. It's a 7 by 5 foot closet, 4 racks full of fabric. We've pulled them all out. We're measuring it and selling it because we have a new adventure on the way. This bundle of joy. We've paused our shop because we are shop owners and we do sell our creations, just in case you didn't know that. Recapturedvalues.com if you want to check it out. But we're going to pause that for a little while and focus on our new adventure, which is first of all preparing for our newborn baby, Syre Lee. And second of all, we are going to start selling fabric. So we're going to link our new fabric group down below. And we have 178 yards of fabric on the way, 2 different fabrics. And hopefully, if it gets here in time, that's going to be our next, it's going to be featured in our next Teach It Tuesday, so be prepared for that. But for sure, this week, this week, we're doing a part 2 to our fabric sale. And we still have some goodies left. I think there's 18 fabrics left from our part 1, and we're going to do a part 2, and we still have tons of fabric. I mean, like, when I was inventorying it, we had over 100 pieces. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell because we post a video and everything's for sale. We had like crazy boxes of orders go out today from people ordering our fabric. And we thank you so much. And we're happy to have an almost clean closet. And so we can bring in more fabrics to give to you guys to make what we show you. So, all right, let's get started with what this pattern is going to be today. This pattern, well, these 3 patterns, we're going to show you how to do 3 different patterns. We've kind of showed you how to do one of these before, the petite pegs from Patterns for Pirates. And so all 3 of these patterns are free. You heard that right, free. You do have to add them to your cart on the website. We will link all the patterns below. You have to add them to your cart, but when you check out, they're absolutely free. So we're doing the petite pegs. I'm doing newborn size. And the wee lap tee. Also free, and I just added some vinyl on here from our silhouette and heat press. And then this cute little beanie. And they have some variations of these. The pegs, they actually have, I think, shorts, capris, and pants. I'm doing the pants, and they are hemmed at the bottom. And then the top here, I do like to do the hemmed bottom and hemmed sleeves, but they do have a banded version and cuffed version, so you can follow along with that if you want to, but I'm going to do the hemmed version. And then the cute little beanie, I'm doing the knotted part. They have one that's just the beanie without the knot, and they have one that has little bear ears, which is super cute. But if you want to know how to make this 3-piece set, which is perfect for gifts, perfect for if you're expecting mama like myself and you want to make your little one something special, handmade, mama made, from your heart. I know how important that is to some of us mamas. And, you know, even if you don't sew and somehow you stumbled upon this channel and you need to get you a sewing machine and try it because it's super easy. But if you want to learn how to do this tutorial, stay tuned and follow along. All right, so you start with your petite pegs. You're going to cut 2 mirrored images here, and they will be hemmed at the bottom, and then you'll get the waistband from that little chart there. And then next you'll go to the wee lap tee, and you need a front bodice, a back bodice, and we are doing the hemmed version. You'll need the sleeves, the sleeves. And then you get your front and back neckband there. You also can do a banded version and a cuff version of this. We're not doing that this time. And then the teeny beanie, you need the main knot style for this video and then the band. Alright, so here I got it cut out. I got my 2 peg pieces in the waistband, my front and back bodice, there's 2 sleeves, and my front and back neckband, which I got from the chart. And then moving over to the teeny beanie, I have my 2 main knot style and then the band. So I like to just get my pieces put together, right sides together. So I cut these ones mirrored images. So I folded my fabric over and cut these mirrored images. So they're already right sides together. Both of these are right sides together. All right, so the cuff here, I'm going to go ahead and prepare this waistband cuff, right sides together this way, and then fold it this way, which is the hamburger hot dog or ham hot method. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a pin there just because this is a cotton spandex and it does roll just a little bit. And so I do like to put a few more pins in this kind of fabric. Okay, so that's our pants, and that's pretty much completed for right now. We'll hem it a little bit later. So now I'm going to do the same thing with my hat band that I just did with the waistband. It's a similar process. Right sides together, fold it this way, and then fold this way. And then that raw edge there is what you will serge or sew together, depending on what machine you have. And then your hat, you're going to lay right sides together. Like this. And then I do like to put a little pin in it here just to keep it together, and a pin on either side here. Alright, so that's together. And then our band, we're not going to do these like typical because you are going to be putting one band on the front and one band on the back. So we're going to move those out of the way, the neck bands. I'm going to go ahead and stack that. Alright, so what you can do is go ahead and hem these sleeves up, which you'll just fold it up about a 1/2 inch. And this pattern does have the cool triangle tab so that you kind of know exactly what you need to fold it up to. So I'm going to use my cover stitch to hem those. Just a moment. Put those there. There's a fuzzy. Alright, so then you're going to want to look the right side of your fabric. So this is the back. I've got the right side facing up. And there were little tabs on the pattern. They're triangles that go in, but that just means you cut the triangle out so that you have these little notches. So if you're following along in the instructions of the actual pattern, these notches will help you line up the front and the back for that kind of pull. It's called a lap tee for that reason. So that's the back. Let's go ahead and grab the front. What I like to go ahead and do, you guys know me and my quartering. I quarter pretty much everything. Get that out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this right sides together just to get this middle point here. I'm going to snip it ever so gently so that I get that middle point. I'm going to do the same thing here with the back. Snip that back middle on the neck. Alright, and so then you'll have that front neckband and back neckband. So the front is going to be the longest one because it's got the longest scoop. So what I'm going to do is fold this wrong sides together. Okay. Well, first, let's go ahead and fold it in half so we don't have to deal with all that rolling. And then get the point here and point here, which will be the middle point, which will match up with that point that we made. Maybe you should starch this fabric because it's so rolly. Alright, so you're going to match up that on the right sides together. So this is the right side of the actual top piece. This is the front, and I'm just matching up that point right there. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it over to match up over here on the side. Same thing on this side. You're going to do the same thing with the back piece here. And then as you sew, you'll have to stretch to make this neckband curve along the curve of the neck front. So that's what it looks like pinned on there. All right, so then we're gonna take this one, do the exact same thing, fold it together to get the middle points for this so we can match it up to the middle of the back piece here. Folding it wrong sides together. Some more pins. All right, so I'm gonna find my middle point here and match it up to this middle point that I snipped. And then the two side points. All right. So then that's how it looks, and again you'll have to stretch it just a little bit to get that to go. Okay, so I did go back and double check the pattern, and you do want this to stick off the edge about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to move these pins. It's always a good idea to just double check your pattern if you're unsure. Alright. Even I have to do that. So you're going to want to stick it off the edge just about 1/2 inch. I'm doing about 1/4 inch. And keep in mind that this, really all of Patterns for Pirates patterns typically use a 1/2 inch seam allowance unless otherwise stated. So don't forget that. If you're like me and you're used to doing 1/4 inch, your garment will fit a little bit bigger than intended. So make sure that you are using that 1/2 inch seam allowance. So whether you're using a sewing machine or a serger, just make sure that you're lining it up on your 1/2 inch line. All right, so we got that done. We've got our neck bands on there. So we're gonna serge those neck bands on. I'm gonna go ahead and hem these sleeves up 1/2 inch right here, just like that. Wrong sides together here, and hem this up. If you don't have a cover stitch, use a zigzag stitch on that, that's fine. And then, so I got my sleeves, got my hat band, serging it this edge. I'm going to serge all the way around this, leaving this part unserged or sewn. So that's what I'm going to do there. This is called a waistband. The waistband for the leggings, doing it right there. And then these leggings, I'm going to serge the crotch curve, which is here and here. And the easiest way to denote or to know for sure is to know that the ankle is straight across and the waist is higher in the back than it is in the front. So anytime you're doing a pattern and you're unsure what the crotch curve is versus the leg curve, it's the best way to determine it. If the pattern is done correctly and they drafted it well, it will have a higher rise in the back for the booty and a lower rise in the front because you don't have junk in your front. You shouldn't, at least. So, okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to hem the bottom of these pants in the flat. I do like hemming the newborn stuff in the flat, so I'm just gonna hem these 1/2 inch up, and then we'll come back to finish the rest, okay? All right, so I did exactly like I said. I made sure to sew the crotch curve. I hemmed the bottom of the pants here. I hemmed the sleeves. I added the bands to the front of the shirt. And I went ahead, the only thing I did that I didn't say I was going to do is top stitch. It looks a lot better top stitch, and I used my cover stitch to do that. To the front and the back, that's the back. Here is the front right here. All right, and then this was the waistband for that, so I serged the edge there. And then this was the hat band, and then I serged all the way around and left this open for the hat. So So let's go ahead and get the hat started because it's going to be the simplest. I'm going to take my pins out. So I no longer need them. Oh, Lord. My sleeves out of the way. Okay, and then I'm going to snip here and here. All right, and so then you can decide where you want your seam of your hat to go. You could put it on one of the sides, or you could try to put it in the back, however you want to do it. If you do choose the back, I recommend quartering, and so I'll go ahead and use the back here. This is what that's going to look like. Fold your hat in half and mark your points so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 points. You're going to do the same thing with your hat band. Open it up. So now it's wrong sides together. You have that seam on the edge. Let me go ahead and match it all up here. You want your raw edge to be perfectly matched up before you do this part. Okay, so then you're going to match up that snipped point that you did with the back seam, and you'll find your 2 equal side points. And then you'll just pick a side, whatever side you want this to go on, the seam, and that'll be the back. And we're going to put the hat in, the band in the hat like this. So the hat is still inside out, and we're putting the cuff inside, matching up that back point here, so that'll be my back. And then just match up all those points. And then I like to leave this last point done with no pin, and then that's, you just sew around in the round there. So that's completed, and we just got to go to the serger to finish that. Okay, so next is going to be the top here. Move the pants out of the way. So what you're going to do,
back piece is wrong side facing up, front piece also wrong side facing up. You're going to put the front piece over the back piece, match up those notches that we were supposed to cut out, little triangle pieces.
and put a pin where those notches are, just so they stay together. Like that. And that's going to make sure that the lap part of this tee is correct. So you want the back wrong side up, front wrong side up, and you want the front on top of the back, matching up those notches on both sides. Okay. All right, so this part, we've got it pinned at the notches. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that your edge here, you're not going to want to stretch this. You're just going to want to make sure that your edge is pinned, that this band is actually pinned to the side here, so that you're going to catch the band in the seam that we do. We're going to do a base stitch just to sew this on. Okay, and you're going to want this triangle piece of that hang off that we left on the band to hang off. And we do the same thing with the bottom. All right. Alright, so that's what it should look like. Making sure that your band is touching the edge and that you have these kind of triangle pieces that you had hanging off on there. And we're going to do a 1/2 inch base stitch. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side before I go over to my sewing machine to do that. So we're going to do a base stitch, which basically just means you're going to do a very lengthened straight stitch around this edge here, just to keep that together so you can remove those pins when you add your sleeves. So I'm going to go do that real fast. I'll be right back. So with that done, you can remove those little triangle pieces right here. Don't remove your notch, just those little triangle pieces here. So it's going to be extra bulk you don't want. tails here. And so literally all the base stitch does is just a small straight stitch to make sure that your pieces are held together without having to use a pin. Okay, so next we're gonna flip this thing over to the right side. As you can see, there's a little bit of pulling. That's normal. Don't worry about that just yet. Well, you shouldn't worry about it at all, honestly. Okay, so you're gonna take your sleeves now. Sleeves. And you're gonna put them right sides to right sides. So right sides together. And you're gonna put it and match up the notches. So now you should have 3 notches all put together. Okay? Pin that one there, and you will just pull it and fold it, or you will maneuver it into this arm sock. And so it will require you to stretch it, and it'll feel awkward because it is kind of like you're putting it into an opposite curve. Just make sure you're stretching that to work. Shouldn't have to stretch it too much, just you need to make sure that your raw edges are lined up. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side here. Make sure that my pins, and remember, right sides together, because the garment is right side up now. I put my sleeve right side down so the right sides are together, just like that. So we're gonna add our arms. That's gonna be a step. So we got our hat band. We'll get our arms on there now. And we're gonna do our pants. So I hemmed the pants, I did the crotch curves. Now I'm gonna open up my pants like this and match up the front and the back crotch curve here. So that means I can match up my ankle pieces here and do this entire inseam there, like that. So that's the bottom. It's upside down now. I'm holding it by the ankles, and you're going to serge the entire inseam there. And then we'll add our waistband in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and quarter it up. So it's ready and over at the table, because that's where we're going to stay. Just quartering this up here. All right, and then I'm going to quarter this up so I have my front and back seam. Now I just need my 2 side points. All right, so now we're going over to the serger, and I'm going to bring you guys with me and complete this over there. And then when we're done, I'm going to put the finishing touches on this because it is for my little boy. 33 weeks now. This thing is just ever growing. Yeah, so all right, let's go to the serger. And again, if you don't have a serger, you can use a sewing machine. That's totally fine. I just like to utilize what I have, and I love the professionalness and the speed of the serger. It just gets it done super quick, but sewing machine will absolutely get it done. Okay, so I got the pants here to start with, so I'm going to go ahead and put the ankle in like this. Don't forget that 1/2 inch seam allowance. Match up your crotch here. And then make sure your ankle points are still matching up. And I do like to cut my tails kind of long because I do secure my seams here. And I use a nit picker. You can find this on waywalk.com for like a few cents. Well, not a few cents. I think it's almost $1. But basically what you do is, it has this little lever on it here. See a little lever? I open that lever, then I put this in to my fabric, pull it out, open that lever, or basically almost close that lever, wrap the tail around that hook on the end and pull it through. And that is secure and it won't come undone. Same thing with this one. Open the lever, put it in further back, wrap the tail around that hook at the end and close the lever and pull it through. Cut the excess off. Alright, so now our pants are complete. We just need to add the waistband. So remember, we quartered that. Let me go ahead and add it on here. I am not adding tags to this because it is for my child, and hopefully he's going to wear it as a newborn, maybe in the hospital. So I really don't want to add our huge tags to the back of these. All right, so I'm matching up the back of the seam. My garment's still inside out, matching up the back seam with the back of the pants, putting the cuff inside the pants. So I'm going to match my points up again. Just very quickly here, matching up my points. All right, that's the front. And I do like to try to pay attention to how the seam is laying, and then try to make sure it lays that way the entire time. Just because. All right, my last little point here, I'm going to go ahead and sew it. You can sew in the round, or you can sew it like I'm doing it right now. Don't forget the 1/2 inch seam allowance. I almost did. My brain doesn't remember the 1/2 inch. I'm used to that 1/4 inch. And like I said, if you do a 1/4 inch, it's just going to make it a little bit bigger than intended. Which is no big deal, really. Unless you absolutely need a perfect fit. For little babies, as long as it fits, it fits. So then I go around, overlap, pull it out, make sure I don't cut my stitches when I do that. If you are prone to cutting your stitches, like right here, if you pull it back through to overlap and you end up cutting your stitches, to fix that, go to your, if you have a sewing machine, do a zigzag stitch over that part that you cut, and it should secure it back, you know, zigzag back stitch, zigzag back stitch, and it should secure it. But if you are prone to that, turn your blade off, turn your knife off right before you overlap, and you will prevent it from cutting your stitches and opening that seam up. So same thing, secure that tail, and then our pants are done. So I'm gonna flip these out, show you how they look. So one piece completed for this pattern, and these are super cute. These are the pants. Let me flip them. So our pants are done. I'm going to set these over here to the side, and then we're going to do our hat, which we're going to sew in the round here. Just don't forget to remove your pins. So I got my side seam here, making sure that the 1 raw edge from the hat and the 2 from the cuff are matched up. And then I'm slightly stretching just a little bit as I go around, just to make sure that that cuff is laying flat on the opening. You shouldn't have to stretch much at all. You definitely don't have to stretch the opening of the hat. So make sure you're removing those pins as you go too. Alright, snip your tail, secure it, and our hat is done. All we need to do is make the cute little knot at the top. Alright, so flip this out and try to flip this knot part out best as you can. If you need to use something to poke it out, if your finger doesn't work, you can use something else. It's not that long of a space though. Alright, so then flip this, and you can absolutely top stitch this down if you need to. I think I will. When it's all said and done, I'll top stitch this seam that we just made, just because I feel like it's going to be a little easier on the baby's head. And then we can always give this a good press too, because the seams are kind of folding in. Alright, so then this little top up here, you literally just take it, pull it, and pull it through, and then pull that knot up to the top like that. And there's the little hat. And again, like I said, my seams are going in. It's not triangular shaped. It's more round. My seams are just going in. Nothing a good press won't fix. We got our hat and our pants done, so let's finish our sleeves here. Alright, so I'm just going to match up my sleeve to my arm side on the side here. I'm going to get that going underneath my knife and needle and thread. Once I see that needle and thread go through it, that's when I go ahead and come over here and check and start to pull my fabric up. And don't forget that 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's what's going to cover up some of these imperfections. And so you're going to make sure, move your pin, and make sure your notches are still lined up here. You're just going to cut those notches off in that seam. And then you're going to match up the last part of this arm side to the sleeve here. Just making sure everything's matching up. Make sure there's no wrinkles. Alright, so then that's what it looks like when it's sewn up. Let me cut my tails. Don't cut them too short. But then as you can see, when you flip this over, it actually does correctly as far as where the shoulder is going to go. Okay, so let's do the other side. Require a little bit of finesse, like I said, to get that sleeve into the arm side. They don't make it super easy for you. But so now you are going to match up your sleeves, right sides together here, like this. Start with the folded edge in, and then this is the bottom of the shirt here. So I'm putting it right sides together, making sure that bottom is matching up. And then I just like to come right here and make sure that these armpit seams are matching up. And then I'll just come down here and make sure these match up again. Cut your tail. This one, don't forget to cut it kind of long so that you can tuck it. I found that tucking your tails is going to be the best way to hold up in the long run. I have tried tying it. I have tried just overlapping it. I have tried, what's that stuff that you can put on there that you can dot it and it'll stay or whatever. I've tried that, and still the best way that I've found to secure your seams is going to be to tuck it with a knit picker or like a crochet hook or a large needle or something like that. We're doing the other side here. All right, last tail to secure here. And then I'm just going to go over to my cover stitch really fast off camera and hem this thing up, and then we'll go see the final result. All right, so you guys ready to see the final result? We have our pants. Let's see if I can get this all on me. I'm going to be the table. Our pants, and I added some vinyl to the top. And then the cute little beanie hat. So we have a 3-piece set. This is perfect for gifts. This is perfect for if you're expecting and you want to sew for your little one. Like I said, all these patterns are free. They're linked down below in the description. You have to add them to your cart, but when you check out, they are free. Super cute. Like I said, they have different variations of the hat. Short sleeves, long sleeves of the shirt. You could do cuffs. You could do bands on the bottom. I prefer hem now that I got a cover stitch. I just love how it looks. Little pants, and I'll post a picture of the set. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you tune in for next Teach It Tuesday. We got some great upcoming news coming, besides this little bundle of joy. So make sure that you're subscribed, make sure you're hitting that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.